Assalamu alaikum, family. This is Ryan X coming to you live. Hope that you all are doing well. Hope that you're having a blessed and wonderful day. Hope that you enjoyed your 3-day weekend if you were off from work. Um, we know today is Tuesday. This is the day that Allah, God, has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Hope you all had a blessed and wonderful weekend. Hope you had a blessed and wonderful 3-day weekend if you were off. Um, and then the likelihood that you're having one of those days, because we know in this life a little rain must fall. Always remember this. Tough times don't last, tough people do. Keep your hope, trust, and faith in Allah God, and He will see you through. I could definitely bear witness to that. So, getting to the topic for this video. Yesterday was the MLK holiday. You know, Dr. King's birthday was on the 15th, but today, his birthday was on Wednesday. But officially, the holiday was yesterday. They observe it on his birthday on yesterday, the holiday, the third Monday in January. They've been doing that since 1986. And we got to give a shout out to our brother, Mr. Stevie Wonder. That song, Happy Birthday, that was like a protest song. And they put pressure on the government, on the federal government, to make Dr. King's birthday a national holiday. And Reagan signed it into law in 1983. And in 1986, it was officially observed. But you know, there was some pushback because Arizona didn't observe it. I think South Carolina, a few other states. But now it's observed around the country. And we thank Allah for that. But I want to touch on something. I get sick and tired of the sanitized version of Dr. King that the media portrays out. I'm so sick. I'm beyond sick and tired of it. I've said it on here before. They always play that "I Have a Dream" speech, and they play one line of it where he says, "I have a dream that one day, and I'm paraphrasing, little black boys and little black girls will hold hands with little white boys and little white girls, and all of God's children will hold hands and say, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we're free at last." It's like, come on. I mean, really? Is that where we at now? Are our children holding hands with white children, singing "Free at Last" or "We Shall Overcome"? I mean, I just hate that sanitized version of that Dr. King. And then they don't play the whole speech. They don't play his whole speech. Did y'all know that Dr. King gave the "I Have a Dream" speech in Detroit? I think it was 2 months before the March on Washington. That's right. June of 1963, Dr. King visited Detroit. He marched with the governor down Woodward Avenue, one of the main thoroughfares, well, it's the main thoroughfare, or one of the main thoroughfares in Detroit. It goes from the suburbs to the heart of the city. It ends in downtown Detroit, Woodward Avenue. Those of you from Detroit know what I'm talking about. He marched with Governor George Romney, Mitt Romney's father. That's right, that Mitt Romney. His father was governor of Michigan in the 60s. He marched with him down Woodward Avenue. There's pictures of it too. Holding hands. They're marching down Woodward Avenue. And at Cobo Arena, I believe it was Cobo Arena or Cobo Hall, Cobo Arena, Dr. King gave his "I Have a Dream" speech first in Detroit in June of 1963. My grandfather was there. I did not know that until he passed away. But my father's father was there. He heard the speech. I hate that thing. Sound like a jet plane landing. But anyway, he was at that speech, and he was at that event. And he heard the speech. He was there for the march down Woodward Avenue, and this was 2 months before the March on Washington. They don't tell you that story. They also don't tell you that back in the 50s, when Dr. King's home got firebombed, he tried to get a gun license. That's right, that Dr. King. He tried to get a gun license to defend himself and his family, but he was denied it. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you that Dr. King was an ally of Fidel Castro. They don't tell you that. They leave all this out. And they also don't tell you that in 1966, when Dr. King and the late sister, Dr. Coretta Scott King, moved to Chicago, believe it was on the west side of Chicago, in a tenement, that Dr. King met with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Allah's messenger. They don't tell you that. There's a picture of that. There's pictures of that. He met with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the messenger, at his home. They don't tell you that the feds, the FBI, were parked outside the messenger's home trying to hone in on what the messenger and what Dr. King were talking about. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you that when Dr. King marched in Chicago in the suburb of Cicero, he got hit in the head with a brick. He said Chicago was the most racially segregated city in the United States. They don't tell you that Dr. King spoke out against the Vietnam War. He supported the Black Panther Party. He supported the Nation of Islam. I mentioned he met with the messenger. He was starting to become a revolutionary. They didn't agree on everything. They did not agree on everything, but they came to a common ground, which is the most important thing. Before I go any further, hit that thumbs up button, smash that thumbs up button down, hit that subscribe button so you get notifications whenever I do videos on here. They don't tell you all these things. They don't tell you that Dr. King supported Brother Muhammad Ali in this stance of not being drafted into the army to go fight in Vietnam. They don't tell you that. They leave all this out because they want to give us a sanitized version of Dr. King so we can feel comfortable with him. They don't tell you that up until the time he died, from a year before he passed to the day that he was assassinated, they don't tell you that he was the most hated man in America. The most hated man in America by every news publication throughout the country. They don't tell you that many people in the black community, many black people hated Dr. King. That's right. The black clergymen, they hated Dr. King because they felt he was a bad influence by protesting, by being thrown in jail, and by telling young black men not to go fight for America imperialism in the country thousands of miles away when we don't have freedom, justice, and equality here in America. They thought he was a bad influence, and they distanced themselves from him. Those same ones who were supporting him from 1955 to 1965 or 65, they distanced themselves from him. The last 2 years of his life, he started becoming militant. He started saying, "Black, I'm gonna change the language tonight. Black is beautiful." And what really did it, he said, "We coming to Washington to get our check, to get our reparations." That's what got him killed, because he became a revolutionary. They didn't kill him because he had a dream that black kids and black children and white children would hold hands and sing and say "free at last." They didn't kill him because of that. If that was the case, they would have killed him back then, and they had the opportunity to do it, but they didn't. They wanted integration. The white liberals wanted integration, but they wanted it on their terms. They wanted us to integrate into their society and neglect our businesses where we depended on them. Brother Malcolm warned us about the white liberals over 60 years ago, and it's still the same today. Nothing's changed, just a year. But they still go by the same playbook. They want us, and then they use the civil rights movement, which was meant for black people, and it benefited everybody else, especially white women. The LGBTQ plus IA community, the handicapped, disabled people, immigrants. We're seeing that now. It benefited everybody but us. It was fine when Dr. King was getting the Civil Rights Act passed. It was fine when he was getting the Voting Rights Act passed, the Fair Housing Act the Fair Housing Act passed. That was all fine. But as soon as he started speaking out against American imperialism, how greedy America was, how he supported our brother, the late great Muhammad Ali, how he met with the messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, how he was in support of the Black Panthers, the true Black Panthers, and I'm going to touch on that in another video. It was, all bets were off. They hated him. But the day that he was assassinated, all of a sudden they loved him. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan mentioned it. He said they're damn liars because they did not love him when he was here. If you loved him, you would support him. You would have supported the man when he was here. And you would take up his cause right now. But no, they don't do that. Too many of our Black clergymen and in our Black community, they're taking up the cause of the Democratic Party because they want to fight against Trump. Trump is against civil rights. Okay, yeah, but he isn't the first one and won't be the last one. What was all this smoke and energy when Bill Clinton was in the Oval Office? Throwing our Black men in prisons by the thousands, and women too. Where was this when Barack Obama was in office? Yes, the first Black president, when he was bombing African nations. And he killed our brother, the late great Muammar Gaddafi. Where was all this smoke then? Where was all this smoke during the Obama administration when our Black men and women were getting slaughtered by the police, left and right? Every time you turned on the TV, another Black person was getting murdered by the cops or white supremacist terrorists. Trayvon Martin. Our brothers and sisters at the Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina. All this was going on. Sandra Bland, Atiana Jefferson, Breonna Taylor was after President Obama's administration, but still, Freddie Gray, Michael Brown, the Ferguson uprising, and Eric Holder, a Black man, was the top law enforcement person in the country. He was the Attorney General. And they did nothing to hold these police departments accountable. Not a damn thing. Tamir Rice, Alton Sterling, Eric Garner, Freddie Gray, Philando Castile, Sister Sandra Bland, I mentioned her. All these brothers and sisters were getting murdered by the police. And Eric Holder didn't do a damn thing. Neither did Obama. But what he did do, he did give marriage equality rights to the LGBTQ plus IA community. So much, they loved him so much so that they called him the first gay president. Y'all remember that? So he didn't uphold Dr. King's legacy. He didn't uphold civil rights for us. Neither did Bill Clinton. Neither did Joe Biden. But that was okay because they were blue. And we fall into this lie that if it's blue, they love us. If it's Democratic, they are allies. That is a lie. That is a lie from the pit of hell. But we fall under this guise. No longer do our preachers speak truth to power. Many of them don't. You have some that do, but many of them don't. They don't speak about injustice or inequality unless it's about Trump and they're being paid by the Democrats. But they don't speak out against them either. It's a sad state of affairs that we've been bamboozled into doing anything that these white liberals tell us. It almost harkens back to the days of the black preacher on the plantation, when the plantation owner used to appoint a black preacher, and he would sit in on the service to make sure he was saying what he wanted that preacher was saying, that what he told him to say. He was sitting in on the service. You was sitting there, yeah, nigga, you preach what I told you to preach. It's the same thing with the Democratic Party. Now, I'm not saying that we should go run and be Republicans. I'm not saying that, because at least they tell us where they stand. They tell us where they stand. They're the wolf. You can see the wolf a mile away. You know where his intentions are. But Malcolm X said that. But the Democrats, the white liberals, they're the fox. They're the most dangerous. They're the most dangerous is the fox, because they're cunning, they're deceiving, they're conniving. Both parties are wicked, Republican and Democrat. So, as black people, we should just rely on ourselves. We shouldn't hold stake in these parties. They don't have our best interests at heart. Dr. Claude Anderson has been saying for decades, we need a national black party. I agree with that. That's gonna discuss black and black only issues, not everybody else. We do need that party, because the Congressional Black Caucus, and another thing, they're not only the Congressional Black Caucus, but the Democrats, they're a part of AIPAC, the Zionists. They're beholden to them. And many of our black leaders are too. Black politicians, black entertainers, black members in Congress, the CBC, Congressional Black Caucus. They'll rather take up Israel's cause. That's right, Israel, illegal immigrants, than black people. This is what's happening. They're no longer are they trying to uphold Dr. King's legacy. Even his own children, sadly to say, they're not upholding his legacy. Brother Dexter King, brother Martin Luther King III and Dr. Bernice King, they're not upholding their father's legacy. They're not. And then there was an infighting between, I think, Dexter King and Martin Luther King III and Dr. Bernice. So it's crazy. It's crazy, and it's sad. And every MLK holiday, They want to say that we've gotten better. We've made progress. We've made progress. It's not like it was when Dr. King was alive. We made progress. We have. What progress have we made? From where I sit, we made regression, not progression. Where have we made progress? And Dr. King came to the realization, and he told his good friend, the late great Harry Belafonte, this: I feared I have integrated my people into a burning house. Dr. King realized that separation was the key. What the most honorable Elijah Muhammad has been telling us for decades: separate from among her. We cannot live with peace with this enemy. We've tried that. We've fought in their wars. We're, Lord knows, we're marched, prayed, voted, protested, all the above, and we still cannot live in peace with this enemy. Integration didn't do us any good. It hurt us. It hurt us. This is the Dr. King they don't want you to know about. This is last week's edition of the Final Call. But this is the Dr. King they don't want you to know about. Remembering and appreciating Dr. King, despite attempts to downplay and distort the significant contributions and sacrifices of the civil rights icon, his life and legacy live on. This Dr. King. The man became a powerful revolutionary. And we have to realize that when Dr. King was marching throughout the South, was giving his speeches, he was a young man. He was in his mid 30s. Early 30s, 31, 32, 34, 35. He hadn't yet evolved. By the time he was 37, 38, 39, he wasn't that same Dr. King in his early 30s. He scared the white establishment, particularly the Lyndon Johnson administration. Oh, and by the way, Lyndon Baines Johnson, what party did he belong to? I'm going to tell you. He was a Democrat, or back in them days, they called them Dixiecrat, a Southern Democrat. And Dr. King became a pain in his side. He was a thorn in his side. Y'all hear what I'm talking about? He became a pain in the side of Lyndon Baines Johnson, a Democrat who y'all think are our allies. The Democrats are the ones who sent our young brothers and poor white men and young Hispanic men over to Vietnam to go die over bullshit. The Democrats did it, and the Republicans with Richard Nixon continued it. So both parties are wicked, and both parties are culprits in this, in our destruction. Both of them. Neither one of them are our allies. But the Democrats um did send troops over to Vietnam, Lyndon Johnson, in the name of democracy, while we're not getting democracy here in America. All these race riots were under a Democratic president, Lyndon Johnson. And Dr. King spoke out against Johnson. He became a thorn in the side of Lyndon Baines Johnson. Dr. King said that riots are the voice of the unheard, and they are. Every major city in America from 1964 through 1968 had a race riot. Every major city in this nation from 64 to 68. Look it up. Of course, the 68 riots was when Dr. King was assassinated. But I mean, I just hate the sanitized version of Dr. King. I hate it because it we're lying to our children. We're not telling them the whole truth about Dr. King. We cannot rely on the public schools or the media to teach our children about one of our heroes. Why would you want them to? They're not going to tell you about the man who spoke out against the government, who realized that separation was the key, who met with the messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. They're not going to tell you about that Dr. King because it's going to reveal their hate, the hate they had for him before he was assassinated. So they want to hide behind this fact. Oh, we love Dr. King. You know, we have streets named after him. We have high schools named after him. We have this named after him. We gave him, he has a holiday. Can we just make progress and just hold hands and sing "We Shall Overcome" and "Free at Last"? No, 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 no. We're not doing that today. Tell our children about the real Dr. King, the revolutionary, the man that said, I'm going to change the language tonight. Black is beautiful. You hear what I'm talking about? The man that stopped eating pork. That's right. Dr. King stopped eating pork. And I'm seeing now people mad about because Trump didn't say anything about the Dr. King holiday or talk about his legacy. Okay, big deal. Oh, Trump is showing us who he is. Thank you, Trump, for showing you who you are, who you really are. I appreciate that, Donald Trump. I don't want you to talk about Dr. King. We don't need you to talk about Dr. King. We should be talking about him. We should be teaching our children about him, not some orange-haired cracker. I don't give a damn about Donald Trump not talking about Dr. King. Great, good. Stay silent because we know it's going to be bullshit anyway. So stay silent. Good, thank you. Don't do what Joe Biden did, what Barack Obama did, what Bill Clinton did before them, and just say the same old script and lie, or what George W. Bush did, or his daddy did, H.W., Ronald Reagan before them. It's a script. We don't need it. We don't want to hear it. I don't need to hear it. Good. Continue on, Trump. We don't need to hear you speak about Dr. King. I don't. Why should y'all? Why should y'all give a damn if he do or not? If he do or not? I mean, seriously. Some of our people they just had this. I don't know. I can't call it. But we have to remember that Dr. King, this man became a revolutionary, and that's why they had to get rid of him because he called for reparations. He called for Black empowerment, not because he had a dream. Dr. King didn't die because he had a dream. That man died because he realized that the dream he had was a nightmare and he woke up from it. That's why they took him out. Let's tell our children that. Yes, the I have a dream speech is cute. It's a feel good moment. Okay, I get it. But that's not what that man was about. He wasn't just some Southern Negro preacher preaching about or championing integration. No, this man was a powerful revolutionary that spoke out against American imperialism. Told the government, "We coming for our check, our reparations." That's why they took him out. That's the real Dr. King, and let's remember that from now and forevermore. That's the Dr. King, not the sanitized version you see on CNN on uh with Ernie Johnson and Charles Barkley and Shaq and Kenny Smith. That when they talk about no, that's no, that's not the true Dr. King. That's the comfortable version of Dr. King. That's the Dr. King that white people feel comfortable with because they know good and damn well that man was a threat to them. That's why white liberals took him out. It was white liberals and conservative. It was a concerted effort. It was a joint effort. That's why they took him out. So let's tell our young people, our children, about that Dr. King, not the one that we see on the news. Not that one. Hit that thumbs up button, smash that thumbs up button now. Hit the subscribe button so you get notifications whenever I do videos on here. Drop your comments below. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear them. I know there are probably going to be people who disagree with me with what I said in this video, and that's fine and dandy, and I'm cool with that. All our acts and our disagreements, let's use logic, common sense, facts, and respect, not emotion and disrespect. That'll get you nowhere. So keep that in mind. Let's agree to disagree without being disagreeable. Let's do that, y'all. Support my YouTube channel here. My future projects is coming up. It'd be greatly appreciated. For those who've been rocking with me since day numero uno, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. And continue to rock with your brother through the good and the bad. I really appreciate y'all. I would do my damnedest not to disappoint you. So please continue your love and support because I need it. Brothers and sisters, y'all be safe out here. Y'all beware and be aware. Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy now more than ever before. So if you're going to work, coming home from work, dropping your children off at school, picking them up, running errands, on vacation, whatever the case may be, or just around the house doing nothing, running or doing whatever the case may be, beware and be aware. Satan comes to kill this devil, Satan, is out there. He's working quadruple overtime, 24/7, 365 days a year to take us out. So beware and be aware. Those of us in the nation, General Order number 2. Y'all know what that means. So keep that in mind. I'm gonna hop off of here. I hope that y'all were able to get the gist of what I said in this video. If so, hit that thumbs up button and hit that subscribe button. And share this video. Share it. Share it. Let's have the conversation. And share it for your children. Forgive me for the couple of curse words I said, but show this to your children. Let this be an educational tool. And share this video. Share it and let's have the conversation because it's a must and it's long overdue. Till next time, I love y'all. Have a blessed rest of your day. I will talk to y'all sooner than later, inshallah. And I'm out. Have a blessed day, y'all. Assalamu alaikum.